The fourth round draw has been made and Arsenal will face Brighton at the Emirates Stadium on the week commencing Monday the 27th. So we'll play them Tuesday the 28th or Wednesday the 29th of October. It was a few years ago in the 22-23 season where I believe they knocked us out with a 2 or 3-1 win at the Emirates, I think. They knocked us out of the third round at the Emirates of this cup competition. And look, they are a good side who play good football, who have been tricky for us to play against, whose results at the Emirates are pretty good. We'll go into that in a sec. And who actually have squad depth. Like, they're a club that over the years have had like a real cluster of players who they can call upon. I mean, I know they lost João Pedro and they've lost many players over the years, but they seem to replenish really well and there's always a squad there. And that means I think they'll be coming to play and I think they'll be coming to hurt us. But I think, unlike previous years, I think we've got a squad that we can really match up to Premier League opposition. Of course, it's disappointing that we didn't get a home tie against teams outside the Premier League, but I think when you get a home tie and you're not talking Man City or Liverpool, I think you can look at it as somewhat a positive. Funnily enough, Liverpool just been drawn with Palace and Man City away at Swansea. So, yeah, we could have some interesting fifth rounds before, which is the quarterfinals, and obviously some maybe interesting semi-finals. But let's not look ahead too much. Let's focus on what we've got in front of us. So Brighton do have a good record at the Emirates. I mean, I think of Emery just before he lost his job losing at home against them. I think of us missing out on Champions League football because of a 1-1 draw. That's where the famous Basuma clip did the rounds. That cost us Champions League football, that draw. I think of the 3-0 in the year that we kind of collapsed in the title race. That year they also beat us, I think, 2 or 3-1, I can't remember, in the Carabao Cup. Again, knocked us out, as I mentioned. Last year we drew 1-1 with them. Only the season before we beat them 2-0 at home. But we haven't had many great results at the Emirates against Brighton. They've typically been quite tricky for us to play against. I think I remember Ben White playing for Brighton when we beat them 2-0 and Pepe scored 1 or 2 goals against them. So I'd honestly venture a guess that of our games against Brighton at the Emirates since they returned to the Premier League, I'd honestly venture a guess that we've won 30% of them. Like, I don't think our record is particularly good. Tottenham travelled to Newcastle, interestingly, so that'll be a really interesting tie that's been drawn. So I don't think our record against Brighton is particularly great, and that doesn't make me particularly confident. I mean, I'm confident, but I'm not like, okay, brilliant. I mean, look, and I mean this with all the respect in the world. When we drew Port Vale away, I was like, okay, unless something goes drastically wrong, we're through to the next round, especially with the squad we have now. But with this one against Brighton, it's going to be a little bit trickier. Now, Brighton are a funny side. Let's just go through their results this season, because they drew with Fulham 1-1 on the opening day before losing away at Everton. But then their first win of the season came in a 2-1 win at home to Man City, where they turned things around and played really, really well against them. They then lost at Bournemouth 2-1. Okay, that can happen. Bournemouth are a good side. But they drew 2-2 with Tottenham from 2-0 up. So their probably two most impressive results of the season have come at home to Tottenham and at home to Man City. And they have a tendency to rise for big games. This has been true before Hurtzler, but Hurtzler does have a way of getting results. I mean, we've drawn 1-1 with them twice, and Arteta hasn't been able to beat Hurtzler. He's beaten Man City twice, coming from behind twice. I'm trying to think of other results. I'm pretty sure Liverpool have had the beating them both times. Yeah, they smashed Tottenham last season. So Brighton and Hurtzler are quite good for the big occasion, the big game. What will be really interesting is how they approach this. Do Brighton come with a full squad, a full first 11, backing themselves to go all the way and do something in this competition, because it feels like the most accessible competition to win for clubs that are perhaps looking for a first trophy in a while. I mean, that kind of stuff will be interesting to see from Brighton in terms of the 11, how they approach it. For Arsenal, a few different things to consider. Obviously, we've got some injuries we've talked about, like Madueke being out, Kai Havertz and Jesus. They won't be involved in time for Brighton. That doesn't come late enough for them to have any real part to play. And then obviously we hope that there's no other injuries. Obviously the likes of Saliba and White have come back. Now, in terms of how these games line up, we know that we've got Newcastle away, Olympiacos at home, and West Ham at home before an international break. 2 weeks off, then we're back to Fulham away, Atletico Madrid at home, Palace at home, and then Brighton at home. So that's not a bad return. Arsenal don't leave London till the 1st of November. I'm just looking now, from Wednesday the 1st of October to the 1st of November, Arsenal don't kick a ball outside London. Now, of course, with the international games going on, what does that really mean? The players still travelling and whatever. But the team itself, don't have, in terms of sort of like long distances or things like that, anything to really worry about. Like I mentioned, Olympiacos at home, West Ham at home, Fulham, international break, Fulham away, Atletico at home, Palace at home, then Brighton at home before Burnley away. Now, I would say that has stacked up quite nicely for us. I would say that is not a fixture list we should be dreading. I quite like that it's a Premier League team in the sense that we might go quite strong again, like we did with an 11 tonight. I mean, if this 11 tonight went out against Brighton, I'd probably want something different in terms of Mourinho up front, but largely I'd be going, yeah, that's a really strong 11. So you're probably looking at something like Kepa in goal, but maybe White, Mosquera, Gabriel, and lewis-skelly. You'll probably look at something like Norgard, Rice, Waneri, and then maybe a Martinelli, Gyökeres, Saka, or whatever. So, yeah, that's the kind of 11 I'd want to see from Arsenal. Something that shows strength and depth, but also not overly rotated, because Brighton are no joke. Brighton, I think, won their last game 6-0. Who did they beat? They beat Barnsley 6-0. And just to give you some insight on the 11, let's have a little go. Let's have a little look. So Steele in goal, Kadioglu, Coppola, Veltman were all in the back four. Baleba and Milner started. You had Welbeck in there, then Simas up front. Look, players like Watson, Gomez, Boscaglia, I can't pretend I'm experts on them. I'm not. But the likes of Van Hecker came on, Yari. They've got Ruta, Matoma on the bench. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see whether they rotate like that. I mean, they rotated pretty heavily in some areas and still got a 6-0 win away from home against, I believe, Championship opposition. No, League One. Okay, so they're in League One with Port Vale. And significantly higher than Port Vale. Okay, interesting. And they won 6-0. So they made lighter work of their League One opposition with a very different 11, with different players I don't necessarily recognise, but a couple first teamers in there that suggests that they will be coming with some quality to the Emirates, I've no doubt. I think they might go strong for that game. But when you look at the fact that Tottenham have got Newcastle away, the likes of City, Chelsea, Man City, Tottenham, Newcastle, all in that draw, I think to avoid any of them at home and ultimately avoid a Premier League side away, because Brighton away, Palace away, they would have been awkward games. So to avoid all that, I think is a good thing. Like we mentioned, Arsenal will play these games from the week commencing 27th of October, and those games will be wedged between Palace at home in the league and Burnley away as well. So I don't think Arsenal can really complain. No fixture outside of London for the whole of October, from October 1st to November 1st. So I think we should be pretty equipped, barring no other injuries. We should be equipped to go on a decent run there, but obviously all things point to Newcastle first. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Everyone, my match report is out on the channel, and there'll be a player ratings live on the Goonerverse, probably as you're watching this. All right, catch you in a bit.